After the ball is over, after the skein is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 464. Today is Saturday, July 24th, 2021, as we are recording. I am Marlicia, also known as Lady Fernico.
And I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
We want to welcome all new and returning viewers to the Fun in the Woman Cave. We're glad to have you with us. If you are new, we're glad you found us, and we hope you see something you like and that you will continue to join us. And if you are returning, we are always glad to see you back, in quotes, see.
Well, if we comment, we kind of see back.
Yes, and if you are either new or returning and you are in the shadows and you want to be able to get notifications and things, please feel free to press the little bell or the little button to subscribe and then hit the little bell gently so that you can get notifications on when we post things. And if you'd like to take part in the alongs and get heads ups for things going on in the shops or get coupon codes or whatever, giveaways and things like that, that happens at our homepage, which is phnpodcast.freeforums.net, and that's in the little description box below the video. We have a lot of fun there. We have some very active members. Ty and I are trying to get more active,
right?
But we do have some wonderful people there who are really good there. They will answer questions if we can't get to you. We have wonderful moderators and wonderful people who've been there forever and they know what's going on. So,
right.
Somebody will answer your question. So that would be great. Okay, now I guess I have more projects this time. So this is what my daughter's head looks like. That's an oboe, and yes, there is a story behind that if you are new. You can ask if you want to know.
Well, I'm sure they figured there was a story behind it.
It's not that exciting a story. No, it's just funny. And then I'm sorry, I didn't say what tea I was having. I'm having Simpson and Vale, the Literary Tea Collection's Jane Austen, which is a black tea blend. It's got...
did you want me to read it? Because I know it's small.
I don't have my glasses.
And I did notice you didn't grab your glasses. So it's got black tea, spearmint, lavender flowers, and vanilla flavor. So this is the same one I have too.
The good thing about this is that I felt like I need it because there's some kind of weather coming in, so I have a little tiny bit of a headache trying to come in, caffeine, but the peppermint, which I really wanted today, so or spearmint, whatever that is, really a good choice. And then I'm having a Stroopwafel, the caramel cinnamon Stroopwafel.
And I'm having the lemon bar one, same brand.
So
we actually was like that was a 2 at a time. Mine is my mug is the all I want is to hug all the bunny mugs.
I think Davina got that for you
She
for
did.
Christmas.
Yeah, she did get that for me.
She's so excited because I picked up Daddy's birthday gifts and she gets to pick out what she gets to give him.
Yeah, mine for him arrives today.
Most of mine is on its way, so that's good. Okay, moving forward, we have, let's see, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Okay, our alongs. We have 3 alongs going right now, and the first one is a along that runs all year. It's the PHN Christmas All Year Long Cal Lal 2021, and I'm basically... If you've been with us a while, you know that I basically read this one and then I just make amendments as we go through the other alongs. It's kind of easier that way. So this along runs from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. That's midnight Eastern Standard Time, okay? And the caveat we've said several times is if the thread is open, later than that, you can still slide things in, but you might want to try to get everything in before midnight Eastern Standard Time just to make sure you get it in, okay? Projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted. Previous whips are allowed but must be worked during the along. Chatter and pictures are all on the same thread. 1 whip per project per week and the FO whenever it's finished. So for those of you who are new, if you post a WIP on a Tuesday and you finish it on a Friday, you can post both of those pictures, okay? That's fine, all right? We do have prizes. Any FO in the Franciscan Gypsies Designs patterns that you work up in that, any Lady Fernicle Creations yarn or my shawl pattern, or any Lollipop Girl yarns or Laura Constant Designs pattern will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. This is pretty standard. It doesn't really change. We have those featured patterns, those featured yarns. The FOs in either featured pattern or featured yarn gets 2 chances at a prize, and if you have a featured pattern with a featured yarn in a finished object, that's 3 chances at a prize. You are responsible for your own multiple postings, okay? The hashtag is PHN Christmas all year 2021 on Instagram, okay? If you want to share with people and maybe bring people into this, feel free to post on Instagram with that hashtag, okay? If an FO uses 50 yards or less, please pair it with something that is 50 yards or more. One other thing, okay? Operation Christmas Child or any project going toward Christmas donations is eligible for 2 chances at a prize, and this is including the Pregnancy Center here in Front Royal, okay? Projects that are made predominantly in the Christmas colors of shades of red, blue, green, silver, gold, purple, and pink, along with white, of course, will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. We're trying to include everybody, for the FO only. We're trying to include everybody because we know that we have a few people who don't celebrate Christmas. So we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to participate. We don't want anybody to be left out, okay? The third quarter prizes, we have some Knit Picks Bravo worsted in the color avocado, which is pretty green. And then we have a Death by Pumpkin Spice, I think is the color, and it's a sock yarn, okay, that goes along with a little blue bag, okay? Okay, let me get a little drink here. My voice sounds a little raspy, so I want to keep it lubricated, okay? The next along we have is the Cardiac Dysautonomia Cal Lao 2021, and the hashtag is PHNCDA 2021, okay, on Instagram. Now, those of you who've been with us for a while know this, but those of you who are new might not. Talia has dysautonomia, which is a spectrum type of thing, with POTS, mast cell, and EDS.
Well, the only one that's dysautonomia is POTS.
Is POTS.
There's other kinds of dysautonomia. It's including orthostatic hypotension. There's other. That's probably the most common one that I've seen. And there's just other ones out there. The one they first diagnosed me with, which was the inappropriate sinus tachycardia syndrome. That's a different kind of dysautonomia. So there are other dysautonomias. POTS happens to be the one that I have. The other 2 conditions tend to be seen with it. There's some sort of commonality. Yeah. Not sure if it's because with the connective tissue being weird with Ehlers-Danlos, if there's some sort of issue with the nervous system sending its messages through. They're also not sure if
that could affect your mast cell.
Right, exactly. So there's not sure if that's the core issue there, or there's still a lot they don't understand about why they see these 3 conditions grouped together so much.
I think what you're at now is where autism and Asperger's and stuff like that was back when Davina got diagnosed. My family doesn't do anything normal. Okay.
And nervous system, this is why I always hated having neuro patients as a nurse. It's very subtle. And there's still so much we don't understand about the nervous system.
Right.
And how it works.
Right. And there's your little fact for today. Okay? This runs from July 1st till September 30th, so we're almost a month through this, okay? WIPs and FOs are both eligible to be drawn for prizes for this one, okay? Projects must be knitted, loom knit, or crocheted. Basically, this is the same thing. As I said, the hashtag is PHNCDA 2021 on Instagram, and they have to be worked on during the along. Now, the difference here is that it has to be in colors of predominantly shades of red or pink, shades of blue, or shades of teal to be eligible for prizes. Predominantly. Doesn't mean that the whole, if you have something that's 85% a teal or pink or whatever, and then you have a black or you have a brown or you have a green or something like that, that's fine. Just predominantly reds, pinks, blues, and teals, okay? And it doesn't have to be all those colors. It could be one or two or whatever. So if you don't have it predominantly, we move to a different thread. Okay, so people can look at it, but it won't be eligible for prize because it doesn't fit the parameters. Okay, the same patterns and the same yarn into yarns are eligible for 2 chances at a prize for the finished object and 3 chances if they're used together. Okay, as long as they're in the, they follow the colors. Let's see here. As always, you're responsible for your own multiple postings. Our third one is not our baby, but we've been doing it with Laura forever. Okay, you guys might notice that we have a very close relationship with Laura, Crocheting Hoovian. We are very fond of Laura. So we do this with her, and she does autism awareness with us, and it's just the way we roll, right? So Tortoise versus Hare 2021 is Laura's baby. Okay, Crocheting Hoovian on Ravelry. And I guess everywhere, I think she's Crocheting Hoovian.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, unless you're doing her shop stuff where she's something else. But so anyway, we're co-hosting with this, and we're happy about that. I think it's like 5 or 6 years we've been doing this.
Oh, I can't remember.
The projects must be worked on between July 1st and September 1st because that's the period of time. And WIP's projects already being done before this started are eligible. You just have to work on it during the along. Okay, so WIPs are allowed to be entered.
I hadn't realized this was a shorter or long because it's only July and August.
September.
You said it's till September 1st.
I have it written wrong. It's September 30th.
Okay, I was going to say that.
I'm glad you caught that because I read it off here. It is September 30th. It goes the full length of the along.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes, I'm sorry. It does go July 1st to September 30th. Okay. Projects may be started before then, but must be worked on during that time period. And the projects aren't required to be finished. We never require the projects to be finished. It's nice. We like to see the projects finished, and you get multiple chances at a prize if you finish it in a featured yarn or pattern.
Yeah.
But you don't have to finish to be eligible for a prize. Okay. Like always, projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted, and it has to be. The caveat here is it has to be tortoise theme, hare theme, tortoise or turtle, bunny hare, tortoise versus hare, or turtle versus bunny or whatever, tortoise and hare. Anything like that is fine, okay? Any rendition of bunnies, any rendition of tortoises or turtles, separately or together, eligible for a prize, but it has to have that in there. And I think it was last year, Laura decided to open up not just to stuffies, not just to amigurumi.
It's been a little while since
Has
she's
it been?
done that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like.
I think it's just last year that we did it.
Yeah.
Because we did it for the pandemic.
Yeah.
So anything, the featured patterns and yarns for this, again, are the same, but they have to be bunny and hare themed. Talia's Tortoise versus Hare book has a ton of patterns that they're all tortoise versus hare related. It was developed for that. So
the patterns are already in place.
Well, yeah, but they were developed for the well, some of them were developed first, and then Laura decided to do this, and then
Well, a lot of them were developed because I like bunnies.
Yes,
that's like
and then
the
she had
crux
to do,
of it.
And then she had to do more tortoises.
And then I had some of our tortoise people whining at me.
Yes, Brittany
and Laura.
and Laura.
The two of them together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's a couple
and Brittany
non-toy tortoises.
Brittany and Laura can take the hit.
And actually, no, there is not a couple. There's only one non-toy tortoise in there, and that's the cow.
Yeah,
because
and it's really cute.
Well, once I got the chart, once I drew the chart, and I was like, oh, that'll work. And actually, I really think it's cute. Then I was able to move forward, and there's probably going to be a reusable chart that I'll put in other patterns.
What do you mean?
I.e. Okay, so there was, you might remember I knit a sheep hat where one person had a really cute sheep. Right. She would take that sheep chart that she created and then have sheep mitts, sheep...
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Whatever, she would have more...
Well, they can match.
Yeah, exactly. She would take that chart and move it to all sorts of different things.
I wish I liked to do color work more. Is that mosaic? No, it's color work. See, I might get to it later, but... I still have to have Talia help me, especially if the yarn is dark, to fix my stuff because I can't see it. And I was trying
I don't think you even knit my mosaic patterns.
Yeah, I'm knitting your mosaic patterns.
You have?
I've got 2 on the needles.
Oh, okay. I guess you're just not as fast at it.
Well, I haven't done it. I've kind of not wanted to do that right now.
Okay.
So I just can't focus on anything that requires that kind of focus right now. So anyway,
Mosaic's a little bit addictive.
oh, I love it. I absolutely
Because
love
the
it.
thing is with it is you can tell yourself, well, you need to do 2 rows at a time because you want to do the back.
Right.
So you're like, well, I always have
Right.
to do 2 rows at a time.
Right.
And then at that, you're like, well, I can just do one row with the other color. And you then keep doing that one more row thing.
What I want to do is maybe the one
Or
I'm
2 more
doing
rows.
right now in the green.
Uh-huh.
I want to do that in a bulky because it'll go faster.
Oh, you're talking about the blanket?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but anyway, I have yet to finish a mosaic pattern. I love working it.
I forgot about the blankets were mosaic as well. I always think of the dishcloths.
I like working the mosaic. I just haven't finished one yet. My little bookmark that Brittany has done like 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever that she started after me.
I thought that Sue was the one who had done.
No, Brittany did one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sue might have as well.
Yeah.
But anyway. And
So you did something mosaic that Sue finished really quickly.
I don't remember. It might have been that as well.
Yeah.
And Sue, if you're watching, we miss you.
Yes.
Um,
we love you.
Yes. I heard from her a while back, and I finally wrote back to her. She probably gave up on me because I think she wrote me in January or something. No, it was later because it was her birthday. I sent her a card or something. She thanked me for it. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay. All right.
Don't expect us to be organized. We aren't that kind of podcast.
No,
You want something organized and just like professional. Check out Bakery Bears.
Yes, we are not. We are. What you see is what you get.
What you see? I mean, they're very natural.
Oh yes, they are. That's not. They're just.
They're organized.
They're more organized. Yeah.
I think they have actually put some thought into what they're doing ahead of time.
We tend to wing it.
Whereas we got projects. That's our thoughts.
Okay. Dave project.
So yes.
Okay.
Apologies.
Yes, apologies, sort of.
Ish.
What we are is what we are. Yes.
We are.
We are what we are. Okay.
This is why our patron program is a little bit cheaper because we don't put nearly the amount of work into it that they do.
But we love contacting our people,
Yes,
so
we
we do more live type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Instagram is #tortoise versus hare 2021, at least for us. I don't know what it is for Laura. And
I've actually used the Instagram hashtag. I need to finish more things.
Laura, we have a thread in the group about how to, if you're not on Ravelry, because we have several people who aren't on Ravelry. If you're not on Ravelry and you want to participate in this because you're in both groups, then there's a thread for you in our group that shows you how to participate with Laura, either on Facebook, via email, or whatever it is she does. Okay, She's been extremely accessible.
Yes, she has.
She's from the get-go. She's been very, very accessible, and we love working with Laura. She's amazing. Featured patterns, as I said, are all Talia's patterns that are tortoise versus hare related, bunnies and turtles, and Laura's Birtle pattern, and any of my yarns or Talia's Laura's yarns that
Talia doesn't have yarns
that are tortoise or hare related. I've got a rabbit, I've got Secret of the Ooze, I've got Booyaka Shah. Those are all turtle related, except for the rabbit one. And I have bunny foo-foo.
I was gonna say, I thought you had another bunny one.
Yeah, and Laura's got sea turtles that I know of. I'm not sure what else she has, but if you want to do that, those are eligible for 2 chances.
You need to do something called Easter Bunny.
I might. I've got so many ideas in my head, and I'll get into that during shop news because I have so many ideas now. For a while I couldn't think of anything, and all of a sudden it was like boom, and then it's almost as bad.
Something off of this might be pretty.
Maybe.
So what this is, it's a pair of bunny socks. It's got light blue, and then
That's kind of a periwinkle.
okay, with my glasses it looks blue. So it's got a periwinkle with these brown bunnies, and they have a pink little
Pink
ribbon
ears.
collar kind of thing, and then it
fuchsia
has
ears.
and actually the carrots are almost more
Red.
than they are
But yeah,
orange.
this is the fuchsia and the pink
Yeah,
brown.
I mean, I think it could possibly be pretty. It could get.
It might be a little busy.
I was about to say it could get a little busy. You'd almost have to pick and choose.
I don't think I would do the carrots.
Yeah, I feel almost like even if you left out the pink, but just the periwinkle and the brown would be really pretty.
Maybe.
If you wanted a little bit of something different, so that's the socks. And also update on the bunny slippers. These things are super comfy.
No, I think I would do for this, I would probably do brown
Uh-huh.
and periwinkle and pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these do hold up. They're comfy. In case you were curious.
I call them bunny socks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can take a picture of the socks should you wish. These socks were, I actually put a hole in one of my pair of bunny socks.
Aw.
I was sad.
Sad.
These are John's Crazy Socks. It's a business run by a young man who has
I was going to
autism.
ask that, yeah.
And his father helps him with the business end of things. He chooses, I guess, all the designs or whatever. So, Vivian has a ton of John's Crazy Socks.
She had to say, no more socks.
Right, exactly. Eventually, if I put a hole in another pair of John's Crazy Socks, I might just start put aside a little bit to get a couple more bunny
Put
pairs.
on your wish list or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any owls.
Well, at least last I checked. But yeah, when I have my druthers, because I actually have stopped wearing my neuropathy type socks because sometimes they're too hot.
Right.
They're
Well,
just too thick.
I wear the socks that you give me. Like when it's so hot in the evening right now, even when it cools down, that when we go for a walk, 2.5 mile walk, you get all sticky. So I take a shower and I don't want to take another pair of socks out. So I use my knitted socks.
Yeah.
And it feels a lot better on my feet.
Well, I've noticed that too with the neuropathy. The knit socks, I think they have more cushioning. So I don't feel, my nerves don't feel like they're lighting up when they
Right.
touch the ground.
See, when I don't know what I have on the bottom of my feet, but in terms of the pain, why I have the pain I have, but
Probably
those-
a
those-
form of neuropathy.
those socks are helpful.
Well, that's something I've noticed before. So, like with these, if I'm having neuropathy, unfortunately, my John's Crazy Socks don't do anything because it's really just some cloth. So I either have to put a pair of knit socks over it, or if I'm too hot, these are actually really helpful. The double layer, I got the pattern off of Lovecraft. Actually, the little anti-skid things, I originally found them on Lovecraft. I think I had to pick them up on Amazon because I think I stopped carrying them. And you just take the bottle, you squeeze your little dime-sized things on here at most, and then you have anti-skid. But anyway, it has a double layer for the sole, so it's a really good padding if you've got neuropathy, and it's a little bit more airy if you tend to get hot feet the way I do,
Right.
because it's got the little bit of holes that come with crochet. So, I might have to eventually make another pair.
Okay, so that takes care of all the alongs. Okay?
Come here, Stitch.
Oh no.
It's okay, you didn't get too far.
Okay, my turn.
Well, it'll have to be because you have 8 projects to my
So I do 2 once. 2
Yes.
once. All right. Get about the poop. Let me see here. Oh, before I go on, update on the anniversary bags. My husband finished the artwork. I hope to get that off to Anne in the next couple of days. So we'll be able to show you what
Yeah,
the
we
anniversary
can't
bag
wait.
is going to be like. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do yarn. I have to figure out if, what I have to get a feel for the bag and see if I'm going to
Right.
do that or not. And I don't know if it'll be together, like I send it all in one package, or if, Anne will take care of it, or I'll take care of it,
Or you guys take care of your
or
separate.
we take care of our own separate with a coupon code or whatever. But so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. Talia's really excited
I
about
wouldn't be shocked if she wanted it in your shop since she's trying to close
Possibly.
things down for herself.
possibly, but my and she knows I'll get the stuff off to
Yeah.
her. But we're both really excited. We had a really good response
Yes.
for the bags, so we will let those people know who already said they wanted to be on the list.
We do have a couple color ideas. We're thinking about sticking with the colors we had for our original Faces bags. But if people have thoughts, let's
Yeah,
hear.
what kind of colors? I mean, we're probably going to stick with the red, blue, and silver. But if you have gray type of thing, and it might be a slightly different
Right, they might be the same
No.
shade.
reds, but because those have been our colors forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then it's kind of a callback to the old ones.
part of me wishes that Paulie was here because he was. I always think of him, and Paulie's okay. He's just not. He's not.
We haven't heard from him in a
We haven't
while.
heard from him in a while. And Paulie, if you're watching, hi. He was the one person we hadn't intended on giving anything out as a prize. We were asking, what the color of the yarns were, what we thought the colors would be in the yarn, and he nailed it. So he got a free skein of yarn or something.
Yeah, we did give him something. 'Cause he just
he nailed it.
nailed on the
yeah,
head.
he's very sweet, and I miss seeing him. I hope you're okay, Polly, if you're watching. Okay, I guess I should go. Let me get a drink. Okay, in my Ploverbird Mickey Mouse bag is the Cerbelle Scarf Pattern by Sarah Sweethearts, and this is I'm using an eye hook and Test Designer Yarns Superwash Merino Worsted. And like I said multiple times, I don't know this colorway. It's not one that I would wear most likely. It's not my colors. I think it's really pretty the way it's working out, but I wouldn't wear this probably. I can't see myself wearing this, so it'll probably be a gift or charity. It's Test Designer Yarns, and it's a really good yardage. I think I said it was like 590 yards of worsted. So it's up there with Miss Babs, Yowza, which is now DK.
Right.
So this is a worsted. And I really like... Oops. Caught
It's a bunny.
crucifix. Oops. So you can see this is... If those of you who've been with us for a while know that this is definitely smaller.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean, it was huge before.
It was absolutely ginormous. So, and I might lead this a long scarf instead of connecting it.
You'll see how you feel at the time.
It would wrap around several times, which is kind of good because this is kind of a lightweight scarf. But I mean, this is it's way past my
Well,
wingspan.
and whoopsie. It's a
See,
bunny.
this look. There's my. Oh, I can't do it right now. This is way past my wingspan. You can see that it's dipping in the center here for my wingspan, and it's also hanging off on this side. So
Ears hanging out.
this is quite the scarf, quite
to
this
and fro.
large scarf.
Can you tie it?
Will you
in
stop talking over me, please?
Can you tie it in a bow?
I'll tie you in a bow.
Tie the scarf in a bow?
My rude child.
It's a shame that, because Davina likes fashion scarves, but I don't think she'll wear.
No, I don't think she'll wear this color. I can ask her.
Right, because, I mean, she has been wearing more of the fashion scarves, the silky type ones.
Yeah, but she doesn't
She
really
doesn't-
care for this. And I'll ask her because she should get first
'cause-
dibs.
And it is kind of her colors.
For our family gets first dibs on everything.
Yeah.
You know, Talia, Davina, my
Just
husband.
make it clear to her she doesn't have to accept it if she doesn't want to. Because sometimes she'll do it out of guilt.
She will sometimes. Oh, okay. No, I'm okay.
What?
I thought this was past, and I did. It didn't. It goes at the end.
Okay.
But yeah, so we try to make sure that family members get first dibs and friends.
Yeah.
And then, so if anybody wants this, let me know because
Right.
it's going to go to charity otherwise. Okay, my next one.
Every once in a while you want to knit with the yarn when it's not particularly practical for your particular color taste. I mean, I tend to actually like knitting in pinks and purples.
I like. I love. I don't know if it's Madeline
And
Tosh.
I don't care for pink and purple.
I don't know if it's Madeline Tosh, or it's a different yarn. But their purples
Mad Tosh.
are absolutely out
Mad
of this world.
Tosh has just killer purples.
I will, and they have killer greens and blues too.
Yeah.
And I love working the purples. I don't wear it. I
But
look.
it's like if it's a Mad Tosh purple, I want to knit it.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what they do to their purples. It's absolutely
I don't
beautiful.
know. Their purples are magical.
As soon as I figure it out, I'll start dyeing that because I think people will like that.
Their purples are something magical, and I don't even like purple.
No, I'm not a purple person. I mean, it's okay.
One-eyed, one-horned purple.
I have a flying purple people eater color. I do.
The thing is, now that I know that,
Laura has it.
once I knew that Chet Woolley was the one who's singing it,
Oh, that's great,
now
yeah.
I think of Pete
Yes.
from Rawhide singing
Singing
it,
it.
which
Oh,
is a
that's it.
lot more funny.
At the campfire.
Right.
He's flying purple.
and they're all just
people
kind of looking at him like,
eater. Clint Eastwood with that eyebrow raise.
yeah. And you can see,
Favor?
Favor. I was gonna say his actual name. You can see Favor's look because Favor gets that sarcastic, snarky expression he has. Mushy's just got like the dumbest look on his face because Mushy always has a dumb look on his face.
Mushy probably likes it. He's probably trying to sing with him.
No, you're probably right.
Now, the one who has a look on his face is
Wash.
Wash, yeah. Yeah, the cook. What is ailing you, boy? I think Wooly, but you're cooking.
Right, exactly. Well, he actually did used to make fun of Wash's cooking, even though Wash is a very good cook.
Yeah, he's a good cook.
Oh, remember when Wash opened the restaurant?
Yes.
Did it burn down or something? Or the lady left him or something?
I forget what happened. That was a long time ago. Okay, anyway.
Sorry.
My next one is in my Ploverbird pink and purple teacups bag. Okay, and this is my comfy cozy shawl from the Scrap Shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel. And I made some progress on this a little bit. I don't know where I did this, but I was working on it. Maybe on Sunday. And you might hear some noises. I hear people. So I don't know if you can tell that I made some progress, but I did.
I can't remember your progress from one week to next. So
I probably should put a
probably.
marker.
Although that thing grows so quickly.
It does. I really like the way this is turning
Oh,
out.
I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
I was concerned about this variegated. I wasn't sure I was going to like the way it worked
Well,
out.
you chose colors that matched very well with it.
Well, it was all from the same yarn dyer. This is all Miss Babs.
Which is helpful.
That's very helpful. So, I really like that. I'm happy about that.
It almost makes it less scrappy in some ways.
Well, I want it to be scrappy, but I want it to
Look
work.
planned.
I'm not even sure that's it. I just want scrappy can look like it works without being planned, and that's what I want it for this. Kind of like yours, the one you have,
Right.
Because my other one, my Zarina shawl is, it was planned. It was, and it's just kind of. I like it. I like the colors. It's a little heavy,
Well, it's also acrylic.
and it's acrylic, and it's Caron, I think.
Yeah, it's that,
Simply Soft.
Yeah, it's that one that has kind of sheen to it. I noticed a sweater out of it.
It's pretty, but it's very planned.
Yeah,
And so it looks like stripes. I didn't necessarily want it to look like stripes that were planned.
right.
So that, it's going to
And also, there
regardless.
was no variegation in it.
There was no variation.
It was just
in
all
It
plain
was all
color.
plain. And that's why I think it looks like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's your turn.
You did both? Okay. Let me grab my show notes to see what comes first. I should have worked on the design this week, but fatigue was an issue, so I didn't.
Yeah,
So
it was
you're going to
kinda-
actually see that not a whole lot of complicated things I worked on. I feel like it's a lot of simple stuff. Now, granted, I'm not sure if my idea simple matches up against other people's ideas.
Well, it
so-
doesn't have to. It has to be what's simple to you.
So, the first one that I worked on, or I had to show you that I worked on, is in my pink and brown soft bag from Knitter's Magic. This is Canary Song.
Is that the bag I got you for Christmas?
I think so, because I didn't pick up either of my bags
Yeah,
from
I bought
them,
'em from
so
you, yeah.
you got them for me at some point. I don't know what was for Christmas or what.
It was for Christmas because I got Davina the blue one and I got myself the.
Yeah, I think you got me the brown one on a different occasion.
I got the one over there that's got all the prizes in it.
Yeah. So this is Canary Song. The pattern is Comfort Yourself with Your Music. It's by Joanna Johnson. It's from Joanna Johnson's book, Little Women Knits.
Have you reached the other armhole yet?
Oh no, that's going to take a while. Look, I mean, because it's going this way, so
Right,
the back, it's.
right.
You think about how long your back is.
Right.
You
It's
know,
really pretty.
It's going to be a little while. So I plug in a little here, a little there. Yeah, and this is actually, so this is the, actually, I guess the sweater's technically going, I guess it depends which way it goes. I can't remember what side up is, what's up and what's down,
Right.
because it's the same. But it's either traveling this way, or if I hold it the other way, it could be traveling the other way. Okay, so, but let me show it to you guys front-wise. So yeah, you can see the lace working up. I had always thought at first it was like this,
Right.
but until you see where the armholes are going, so it's actually got the lace over, above, and under the armholes.
That's pretty.
So,
You can make a vest out of that if you wanted to, a long vest. Like a swing vest.
you just would have to decide not to hold your stitches.
Right, you just bind them off.
Yeah. So you'd have to plan it ahead of time. You couldn't
sure,
just
sure.
last minute decide it.
Well, it'll be more difficult to do it.
Yeah, well, because you got all these live stitches here, and you won't necessarily have enough yarn to bind it off with.
Right.
Because you weren't meant to bind it off. So yeah, this yarn is Miss Babs. The colorway is I'm sorry, I'm not having any brain.
Squash blossom.
Squash Blossom, thank you.
I think it's squash blossom.
It is. Once you said it, I knew it, but I just could not pull the name out of my head. So yes,
I'm getting warm.
and it is one of my favorite yellows. I have a lot of projects in that yellow.
Let me just finish that. I don't want to. I'm getting hot for this, so
Something you need is a little cooler.
yeah, just finish this stitch. And it may just be that wearing long sleeves was a mistake.
Yeah,
And I can't shed it because I've got a cami underneath, but it's not.
We're PG podcast.
We're PG podcast. Nobody wants to see that. Okay.
And if you do, shame on you.
Yes. Yes. Shame on you. Okay, let's see here. Taya, do you want some of this left over for your blanket?
Sure, I haven't worked on it in a while, but don't say like a lot for me. I don't need a lot. I only have small squares I'm doing for this one.
Because I don't think this one will fit in the blanket. The thing I'm doing, the jelly roll. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't need very much because my squares are a lot smaller. It's for the big blanket for the bed. Haven't worked on it in a while.
Look at my owl bag.
I tend to work on it more during winter.
My large owl bag from Mama C, because she spoils me, and I have a little set. a large one and a medium. So this one, actually, it's more like a stair step large, medium, between them. It's a really nice bag. Both of them are. Okay, this is my bag and wrap from the Burrow Wrap pattern by K.F. Jones. And I'm using Dragonfly fibers for this, as well as some stash yarn. I'm not sure what it is. Might be Miss Babs. And I am using the needle size that Kay suggested was a 7. And
Which is a little bit unusual for you. You usually tend to look at her needle size and go up to like a 9 or something.
yeah, it depends on what I'm doing. I like the way this worked out. So I'm about maybe 10 or 12 rows from finishing this color. I did do some of this. I'm in the middle of a row here, but I don't know if it's just back and front. I think this is the front. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's garter stitch right now.
Right, no one's going to be able to tell.
So it never looks like I do anything on this, but I do. It's just that it's garter stitch. It's not big stitches, size 7 needles, so it's not going.
It works out really prettily.
It does. I like the way it's working up. So I will. This is a fun project because it's just kind of knit, knit.
You might want to keep that one out if that's because
I think I am.
This one could be an easy one that's not going to land on your lap to work on.
I think I'm going to work on this a little bit, and
Okay, so I guess my turn, right?
yeah.
All right, let me check my notes. If this one's next, I'll do something else. I'm hoping to finish the row. I might not be able to. Okay, so skip that one. I'll come back to it. Okay, so this one, I also have a set for this. I have hot pads for this.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say my hot pads for my owl.
So my hot pads, I keep one beside my bed and one at my desk right near my tea warmer.
Well,
And this is my tea warmer.
my one with my Bible verse is not being used for that. It's being used. It's being decorative.
My one with the Bible verse, something about, oh, that was my spoon. My one with the Bible verse is at my desk, and I just make sure not to put my spoon on the actual Bible verse because I like to actually look at the Bible verse while I'm having my breakfast.
Right.
And also, I don't know, I feel like it's inspiring to have that on it right there.
It's nice.
Oops, tried to drop another stitch. Let me just put this over here.
I figured out what I did wrong. I'm going to block it. I didn't want to go back like 5 rows.
What'd you do?
I just had, when I did the slip on this, I had the yarn in front instead of the yarn in back.
Oh, okay.
So-
I mean, that won't block out, but you just won't notice it.
Yeah, you won't notice it, especially
Yeah.
when it's
Because you can't block out
no, I know.
a wrong stitch.
I know. I'm just saying that I can make it even.
Yeah.
So it's not.
But also a Mama C bag. These are the eyes on the bunnies make me think of, in cartoons where they show when they're trying to show someone's being hypnotized,
Right.
And they have their eyes,
circles, yeah.
where it looks like they're, I don't know, a whirlpool or something. Some of these bunnies almost look like they have the hypnotized eyes, but they're super cute. It's mostly small ones that look more like hypnotized eyes. So in this I just realized that Joanna Johnson.
Yep. Seems like it's what you're working today.
So this is another Joanna Johnson. I thought of working on your platypus, but I didn't have the brain power.
Well, you do what you can.
This is from Emma Knits.
Yeah, I have that shawl. That's a shawl, right?
Yes.
I had that on the needles. I just haven't done anything on it yet.
This is Walking to Town. And I've been calling this hot stuff because the I figure while Emma's walking by people like Mr. Elton are like, she's hot stuff. You remember Mr. Elton? He was the one who was trying to hit on her, and she thought that he liked her friend,
Right.
and he just pretended to be. He was only interested in her painting because she was the one who was painting it, not because it was her friend. While she thought he was interested
Right.
in her friend.
Right. I don't remember much of that because I got bored with them after a while.
Well, you liked the movie though.
Yeah, I did.
And
And I don't
Little
remember.
Caesars.
It's been a while since I've seen that, though. That's been 25 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he's a jerk. One of those arrogant types who he's just not a nice guy, and the woman he eventually marries is horrible.
Aw.
Well, they deserve each other. They're probably very happy together because they're both awful people.
Aw.
Oh no, I don't feel sorry for him. He was actually really cruel toward Harriet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'd do this.
one of those, like, everyone, the one instance you could think of the most is they're at a dance, and every single young lady gets someone to dance with them. He offers someone else who's not dancing because she's pregnant to dance because the wife is tired, and he looks at Harriet and purposefully doesn't ask her to dance. Eventually, Mr. Knightley, being the amazing guy he is,
Right.
even though he doesn't like dancing, swoops in and dances with her, because it was actually ruining Emma's time too, because Emma
Right.
was so upset that no one was asking her friend to dance,
Right.
and Mr. Elton made a point of snubbing her.
That's not nice.
Yeah, it really hurt her feelings.
I bet.
And then Mrs. Elton is one of those people who involves herself with everyone else's business and, you know, pushes what she thinks is best for you on you. She bullies poor Jane. Actually, she does bully Jane Fairfax, trying to get her a governess post when she pointedly tells her she doesn't want one right now.
Can we not be on a Jane Austen rant for now?
Okay, sorry. But yes, walking to town. This is Airport Hot Sauce,
I like that color, but not as much as your rodeo colorway.
which we figured out that you can get something similar to that.
I can?
Yeah.
I'm going to as well.
But yes, this is Dragonfly Fibers. I'm using the last of this colorway for this shawl.
It is pretty. I think that one's still available.
Something similar. They don't have
Yeah.
the same name.
Right, and I think they have something kind of similar to the rodeo, but not really.
Yeah, what they had that was similar to this looked really similar to it. So I think it's either they took the recipe.
It could be, because I know
and
they
named it.
I know they said when I was reading about their, changing hands. I think they kept some of the recipes, but they kept some back. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they did that because they thought maybe they'd go back into it or what. Because you kind of can't do much if you sell your recipes.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I guess they were done or whatever. She retired or whatever. But yeah, just want to show up close the pattern. It's pretty. And what's really nice is that toward the arm, it has like a little ruffly thing that makes it almost look like a sleeve.
Right. And that's what I like about
That's
it.
what actually attracted me to the pattern.
Yeah.
It's actually that pattern that really sold. That's the pattern book for me.
Eminence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only
And
reason
it's
I
only an
picked it up.
ebook right now.
Yeah, I have that as well, as witnessed by the fact that I have the shawl started. Mm-hmm. But I kind of want to finish some other things before I start working on that again. I do have it. It's got that really pretty sparkly brown yarn.
Oh, that's
what I'm
pretty pretty.
using, so for that. Okay, let me see here. Let me just hold these stitches for a
The funny
minute.
thing is, I don't see Emma wearing something like that color. I can see Harriet wearing the red. Emma's more likely to wear the sparkly brown.
Right.
It's got a little bit more classiness to it. Whereas the red, a lot of times women, if they wore red during that time period, there was an attraction for everything soldierly. Because they were, you had the militia that was all over different parts of the UK, and concerns that Napoleon was going to invade them. So anything related to soldiers was in vogue. So red was in vogue because that was the color of the uniform. So I can see Harriet trying to be in vogue, but I don't see Emma trying to be in vogue.
But she might be patriotic.
She might be, but I would see her more like she might have a small accessory, not a whole shawl. Emma sets the fashion. Emma doesn't follow the fashion.
I don't care. Okay. All right. Arwen's Hooded Cowl is my next project. It's in my Silver Shed USA TMNT bag. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, make sure you're saying TMT, not TNT.
No, I said TMNT.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, TMNT.
so I did work on this a bit. Ty helped me. This is what I was talking about. Ty helped me fix this a little bit because I did fix some of it, and then
I helped you with that.
and then I when I went down to fix the next stitch, Ty said I went down a level, and that's why I had an extra stitch there. So I stopped right away. I didn't feel like giving her a
Yeah,
lot to
she
work on.
knit her grandmother stitch as well as her, or she knit her mother stitch as well as her other stitch.
So you can see that it's working up really pretty. I like this color. This is a slate blue. It's going to be really light, I think. It's just
That's why my yellow one's turning out for some reason.
So I guess it's just maybe it's sometimes you just get a yarn that's because I'm using I think I'm using the needles that they suggested. I'm using 10s.
I think I don't know if we've noticed this with some yarns though, like even when you get acrylics, some colors just sometimes have a different feel to them.
Yeah. And this feels very light, which is fine.
Yeah.
I don't-
Because I've worked all of mine in MIPS Fabs, and that one and the yellow one both have slightly different feel. Was this in something else at some point?
no,
Okay. That was gonna be my only other.
no. This one I caked up just for this particular because it was new.
So it's not like mine was where it was in something.
Right. No, it's just just try and get this. Okay.
All right, so it's my turn.
Yeah, I'm done.
Let me find something that's not this one because I'd like to get to the end of the row for this one. Okay, so next, well, actually, let me talk about the one that's just like yours. This one actually's gotten a fair amount of work on it. In my Plover Bird multiple tar-dye bag, this is my Lothlorien hood. It's Thorns Hooded Cowl. This also is Miss Babs. We think the colorway is Berlin. We've lost the ball band a long time ago.
That's really pretty.
And actually, by we, I mean you, because I gained it from you and I gave you a different yarn.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget.
I can't remember that far back.
I forget what I gave you in return. Oh,
was
you
probably
took
the
the
Mad
Mad
Hatter.
Hatter
Yeah.
because you thought you could do a Sorabelle out
And
of
I
it.
am
That'd be
doing a
really
Sorabelle.
nice.
Yeah, I am doing a Sorabelle.
And I really didn't have a lot of use for it.
That's the only thing I can see other than socks.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it'd be nice with a hat or.
And
a
that one
turtle shell.
really bleeds
Yes, it does.
for socks. You know, you definitely have to wear something underneath of it or it would bleed on your feet.
I haven't had trouble with that.
Oh, really?
My real socks.
Okay, well, that's good. But yes, they're...
Having said that, now it's going
Now it's going to bleed on you, right? So I'm probably no more than 10 rows away from starting the actual hood part for this. And because I don't have an extra skein, I'm going to be doing the smaller hood. For the brown one, I might do the bigger hood because I have so much yarn.
brown one.
Well, the one that's Pennies from Heaven.
Oh, Pennies from Heaven, yeah.
And the yellow
Copper.
one, yeah, copper. The yellow one is going to be like this one with a thinner hood because and it's actually probably good to have a nice mixture of thinner and bigger hoods. And it'll give me a nice color variation. This one, which can go with blues and greens. Then I have the copper one that can go with a lot of outfits.
I might give Davina my slate blue one if I don't think I'm going to wear it because she'll say it's silver.
Yeah, she will.
And so she can have a quicksilver one to go with her red one. She wears her red one all the time. And, and it's different.
Well, hers is technically pink.
Yeah. But my point is she
Yeah.
wears it all the time.
Oh, yeah, she loves it.
So-
well, she looked at mine and she asked me
Right.
to
Now this-
knit one for her.
This one won't have lace on it, but
Because Davina actually, as much as I knit for her, doesn't ask me to knit her a whole lot of things. I mean, she'll hint around, but she actually point blank asked me for the hood.
she hits around for me all the time. That's really pretty. I'd like a sweat. That would make a nice sweater.
Yeah, she hints for sweaters like
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
But yes. So I'll have this one. I'll have the copper one, which can go with like oranges and yellows and that kind of thing. And then I'll have the yellow one. Actually, the copper one can go with red too. The copper one's very versatile.
Now, if I do make that one for Davina, she probably won't want the bigger hood.
No, she
so I
won't.
should be able to get through one skinny yarn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a red one. That's what I forgot. So it's red, blue-green one, copper, and yellow. So that's a good. I mean, I shouldn't need much more than that, color-wise. Which will be good. By that point, I'll probably start to get tired of the pattern. Because I mean, if you think about it, I've knit. At that point, I'll have knit 5 of them.
I'm trying to think what I have here. Oh, I'm going to stop this for the time being.
Yeah, because it's your turn.
Let me see here. If I get a couple of projects started when I'm on the podcast, I feel happy because I know at least I have something to show. 'Cause- let's see here. At least I didn't sleep all the time this week. I did sleep a fair amount during the beginning of the week because I had my class. And every time I have my class, I seem to be tired.
I think we have only 6 weeks left.
7, I think.
I counted. I think when I.
It goes to 17, week 17. And we were on week 11, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I guess we do have 6. I must have been counting last week.
I think you were. So that's not too many. We can get.
We had to the end of August.
Yeah.
So,
And then we're just gonna try to do the ones that are self-paced where we don't have to do it at night with them.
yeah, we could just...
Because honestly, I'm okay if we miss the live pregame or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's really... we're not saying that we'll never do that. You know, if something really... if it's really Pauline or something, we might do it
Yeah.
live, or we might just wait for it to come so where we can do it
Right.
on our own schedule, because she never knows if she's going to feel up to it, and I get really wiped out if I have to stay up till 9:30 and get up at 3.
Mm-hmm.
So and it lasts like a good half a week.
Right.
So it's just better that we not do that. Okay.
It gives us a little bit more flexibility.
Now, speaking of the yarn, the pink yarn that we traded, in my Silver Shed green Star Wars bag is my Mad Hatter cowl from the Cerebel pattern by Sarah Sweethearts. I might have a little bit of a problem regarding Sarah Sweethearts. I think I have 3 projects here too of hers, all the same.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the only pattern of hers you have.
yeah, also, yeah. So this is. I wish it would show up better. I guess it's showing up better there, closer to color.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, 'cause
bright.
remember the one in the back is a little bit darker because I haven't had a chance to get it on 100% brightness. It's still only on 90.
That's fine. You don't need to have it 100% brightness. As long as you can see, this is really bright. I mean, this is like almost you need sunglasses to. So this
But
is
it's a
Mad
dark
Hatter.
bright, for lack of a better term.
It's a jewel tone.
Because you have those ones that are like super bright, like neon. That's not neon
This is
bright.
not neon. This is like, fuchsias, in your face fuchsia, and the greens are fairly bright as well. But there's no, like, as bright as it is, there's no neon green in this. It's a forest green, and there's a fuchsia and a pink, and kind of a dark teal.
That's what I'm saying. It somehow managed to be bright and dark all at the same time.
So it's really pretty. But this is one of those. Now this one I could potentially keep.
Right, you wanted to wear it with a black
I could wear it with a
coat.
black a coat or something equally dark. It would be really pretty as a pop of color.
Right, it's more for outer wear anyway.
This is more something I would wear. Even though I don't do a lot of pink, it's got the jewel tones, and I think my
Oh,
color.
and it's not like a pink. It's not like a Barbie pink.
No, and it's I don't mind fuchsia too much.
Yeah.
And it's got the greens in it that I really like. And it's got the teals in it that I really like. So it's got enough colors in here. It's got this wine red that I like. So it's got enough colors in it. The pink is almost secondary. So
Right.
I need to get my show notes up again. There we go. And it's something I think that is doable for wearing. Mm-hmm. So for me, and I might do also another long one where I just wrap it around several times.
Right.
So yeah, that takes care of that.
Alrighty, so next one for me. Let me bring up my show notes again. Hopefully by the time it comes to this one, I'll be done with the row. I think I will be. Okay, so next. Oh, yes. Speaking of Davina and her hints for sweaters, she actually doesn't know about this one.
Yeah, she'll like that.
I already had the pattern. The pattern is, I believe this one's is this one the Granville? No, this is Hillcrest. Granville's another one. I have so many sweaters on the Eagles right now. For those of you who used to watch me back in the old days, particularly when I first started the podcast, and I say I because I was the one who started by myself.
For the first 6.
Yes, or 7 or 10.
No, I came on 7.
Okay.
I remember that.
So, I was primarily a sweater knitter, and I'm going back to my roots. And that's a song. Okay, so I am using Knit Picks Swish. Yeah, I think it's Swish. Bulky. This is so soft and happy. I eventually want to pick up
Yes, nice.
some of this. It's going to be a long time because,
I want one in that really soft one you have that cable one out of. That really soft acrylic that you got at that.
Yes, that's nice. That's Eco.
Yeah.
Something. I still have my notes for that
Yeah.
somewhere. But this one, I want to make the Fireside. It's kind of like a pullover with the really open collar. It's a Jane Richmond pattern.
Right.
And I want to do it, and it's kind of in this embery reddish kind of
Ooh.
color. So it's just like the name of the pattern, and I think the pattern actually might be called Campfire or something like that.
I think you're right. Campfire cardigan or something
Yes,
like that.
well, it's not a cardigan. 'cause it's a
Fireside?
pull- Is it Fireside or Camp?
No, Fireside is an actual cardigan.
Yeah, this one's not a cardigan. It's a pullover. Because remember, it's got that really open collar. And it's a Jane Richmond, and a lot of hers tend to be bulky. At least all the ones I've picked up. And I want to use the deep kind of embery red that Knit Picks has in their bulky swish to make that eventually,
Right.
because it would be perfect.
Right.
But yes, this does grow slowly but
It
surely.
do grow.
It's always hard for me to tell exactly how far I am because she's
I kind of want to.
shorter.
I kind of want to make a blanket out of that soft stuff. That you,
It's which one, the Eco or this one?
the Eco.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well-
just don't know if it would hold any kind of shape of something.
Well, I mean, it does hold a cable,
Mhm.
and had really good stitch definition.
Okay.
I
It just
mean,
seems
you
like it would be a
see,
nice,
you
comfy-
see my cables all stand out just fine, and
It just seems like it would be a nice, comfy blanket,
Mhm.
or shawl or something. But a sweater would be great because you just kind of feel like you're in a hug.
right.
So, all right, let me just finish this stitch. Okay.
Yeah, I picked up that yarn at that yarn shop we used to go to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Winchester, the other one.
We didn't go all the time. We
The
just
one where we used to socialize.
yeah, but we went there about 3 or 4 times.
Okay, I guess it wasn't that
Before it changed over, and we went once because we
Yeah.
didn't like where it changed. Yeah, it was in Warrenton.
but I picked it up there.
Right. Now, my next one, and it's a very nice shop. It just changed, and it was hard to find parking, and it was,
Yeah, she went into an upstairs area where there wasn't a lot of room, and it kind of ruined the social atmosphere that she had built.
yeah. Well, the person before it had built, and then they continued.
Right. I forgot that they
And she
changed
kind of
ownership.
got taken a little bit because they moved out because the people next door wanted to expand, and then they never expanded. So, at least that was my understanding at that time.
I always feel like when people say that, though, there's always... You don't move out of your business because someone else wants to expand if they ask pretty please. I have a feeling a rent was a problem.
It could have been.
Or
It could have
there's
been.
always something else underlying.
Right, but the fact remains that that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, now my next one is my by special request shawl from the scrap shawl pattern by Anastasia Sattel. Another one I tend to do multiples of at any given time. And this is for Talia. It's in my Silver Shed USA Fluid bag. This is the original that we did. This one we didn't do as an anniversary bag. This one was done just, I think it was like 200 members or 500 members.
Yeah, it was something.
Something like that.
It was a membership.
Because our 5-year bag is up there.
Yeah.
So this is Talia's version of the scrap shawl.
It was a membership marker, milestone.
something like
something-
milestone,
That's
yeah.
what I was trying to get.
So you can see the blue now.
Yes.
So that's looking nice. I asked Talia if she liked that, if she wanted me to change it. And I think I know what I'm going to do now for this. I have to plan this a little bit because I've got this pop.
Right.
So I want to make sure that it's cohesive. So I think
And it's hard because this is so green and gray, and then you have the pop of blue pulling it in. That's why that other yarn's gonna be so good. It'll make it more cohesive.
well, what I'm probably going to do with this is I'm going to have another gray. I'll do another one of this, and then I'll start with this and pull. Not this one. This. Where is it? Where is it, precious?
Where is it?
She Cagney. Where is it? Where's my other
That was a reference.
Yes, Cagney. I was doing Lord of the Rings.
I
but
knew
did
you were.
Cagney. This one.
Scenic route.
Scenic Route. So I was gonna do this one, but I think it doesn't have enough of the green in it.
Yeah, and this one will pull in nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably gonna want to pull this one in sooner than later because I don't know how much yarn this.
Yeah,
you're gonna probably end up with a fairly thin
I don't
stripe.
know. I don't know if I have another Scenic Route or not.
That's my only scenic route.
DK. I think it's my only one, and I can't get this anymore because
Yeah.
Marigold Jen doesn't. I don't think I have another Scenic Route. I'll have to check and see what I have. I don't think I have any more Scenic Route.
Well, you tend to use it.
Well, we also tend to give it to each other when we're using a project.
Yeah.
I might have it in another project bag. It might be with, if I have it, it might be in the bag with where I had all the squares.
Oh, you think you're using it for squares?
Well, I'm not using it yet, but I can check and see if I have another one of these, and then I won't have to worry so much because I really didn't want to finish this up and go right into this.
Right.
And I don't have a lot, so
You have
I
to
don't know.
think.
I have to think about it.
just because I know that this thing grows really quickly.
It does, but I still have to do. If I do, I was thinking about stopping this as soon as I finish this row. I want to do one more row of this, but and it doesn't really matter because it doesn't really have a front or a back.
No, it's
And then doing this, and even so, I'm only gonna have. Even if I go to the end of this, I'm not gonna have much, and it's gonna be like the only bit of it. And then I would go back. I guess I could do that, and then do the blue with the gray and the blue.
I mean, I guess the first thing to do is to check your bags, make sure you don't have another one.
Yeah, I might have to go de-stash hopping and see if there's
That might ease your mind a little bit.
a little bit of the scenic route decal.
I know that I have. It's completely off topic. When I was thinking scenic route, then of course I've started thinking about the other one of her colors I always love to see, which is the sidewalk chalk.
Yes.
And I have that one in a hitchhiker, which now I have like an itching to knit because that's a really fun color to work with, and that's an addictive
I
pattern.
have it. I'm working on it in something. I think.
I feel like you are too.
Yeah.
Didn't I knit you a pair of socks out of that?
Yeah, I think so. So it's your turn.
How did my warmer get only on a little? Put that back on red. I must have hit it when I was showing them the warmer. This warmer is cool. It has.
Actually, it's warm.
Okay, well, it has 3 settings. It could be the very low warmth, medium warmth, and then as warm as it'll get. And it has a different color for each one of them. And it'll automatically shut off in 4 hours if it's been on for 4 hours. But it does have an on-off button. Because I didn't want... They had several that if you just put the mug on there, it would turn on. And I didn't like that because in my head I could just imagine something falling on it and turning it on.
Not to mention the fact that if you forget,
Right.
it stays on and can, the whole thing can burn away and then you have issues.
And my old one used to be just one that you had to remember to turn off. But I kind of like it that this one does turn off. My old one, it started developing, I think it was like a burning smell or...
Yeah. It was time to replace it.
Yeah, it was time to replace it. It had some sort of issue that I couldn't, I was really concerned about. So, oh, I remember, it turned itself on. And I couldn't get it to turn off.
Right.
No matter what way I had the button on. So I got really nervous about it because it meant that if I had left it unplugged, or I left it plugged, I could never be sure whether it was on or off.
Right.
Whereas this one, like I said, turns itself off. Anyway, my trim for project. Let me look at my notes. Oh, I know which one is next. This one, I believe, is the Hillcrest coat. Let's see. No, that was Hillcrest. This one is the Granville. Yeah, this is a Granville cardigan. I call it Frozen. It's by the Granville cardigan's by Fiona Ellis. It's in my PHM Faces bag. This is the other color.
Right, and then there's a silver gray.
Yeah.
If you look, well, I guess we don't have a picture anymore. Brittany one time posted a picture of her. She has a gray one.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the... Well, it might not be if we destashed all the photos.
Right. Well, I think it was actually on Ravelry that she posted it.
I thought she posted another point, too.
She might have.
Anywho.
We love Brittany. She's a...
Matching little... No, she's a bag. So, this is in pieces. Oops. I already had the pattern. And in some ways, it's reminiscent...
Another one in pieces?
Yes, I have 2 that are in pieces. And this one, Davina's. The one with all the ribbing.
And Dad's.
Well, that's in pieces.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No. I have 2 in pieces, and I'm going through the ones that aren't in pieces in my head to make sure I'm not missing one. So,
gotcha.
2 in pieces. Then I have the Anne sweater. I have the silver cabled one. I have the one with the ribbing, and I have the yellow one. So I have 6 sweaters going. And then 3 in the wings, I think, because I have the one that I had the yarn picked out for. That is the Muggle cardigan.
Right.
That was so nice. I might have to knit you one at some point too, because it was a nice button up that was just so nice and relaxed. And then I'm probably gonna end up knitting your Anne sweater.
Possibly.
And basically in my head I'm like, yeah, I'm probably knitting that, so I'm prepared for it's a fun knit anyway. And then I'm knitting your owl one as soon as I have the yarn.
Yeah.
But
I have to dye up that yarn. That's going to be probably Pennies from Heaven as well, but lighter than Talia's.
the Granville, in some ways, it's not nearly as complex and the number of cables it has, but certain aspects of it reminds me of the
Vivian?
yes, the Vivian by Yosal Teak,
really
which
pretty.
I had knit. That was my first cable sweater. But this, what reminds me of the Yosal Teak one is the cables up the hood, and they have it also down the shoulder and down the arm. That's what reminds me of Yosal Teak. But Yosal Teak also has cables all throughout. This one has it on the back and down the hood, from the hood going all the way down the back, and then down the arms, but and a little bit, on the where you would have around the hood and down the button band. But everywhere else is plain. It has stockinette instead of seed stitch, whereas the Yosal Teak one is all seed stitch around the cables. And like I said, this one's in pieces, which is different than the other one. My shoulder keeps making cracky noises.
I thought you said it wasn't making noises.
Well, this time it did.
Ah.
So yes, this grew a little, but this is soft. This is shepherd's wool. You've always said that you feel that this is for non-superwash. This is a really
Right.
soft yarn. And I think this is frosty blue or something like that. It's a colorway. I would know if I actually look at my show notes, but I choose not to.
Show notes, bonus.
Oops, I'll put that in the bag later. Okay, so it's your turn.
Okay, let me just get this here. I may have to pull this back a little bit because I seem to have been trying to make some stitches where they didn't need to be.
Oops, there's a bunny.
Yeah, I don't have anything to drink right now, so I'm not going to do it. Let me see here. Let's go back a little bit. Oh, there's a problem.
What'd you do?
I'm not really sure. Let me see here.
She shows some talent.
I'm just going to tink it all the way back. It doesn't make an issue.
Not all the way back.
No.
Just to where the mistake is.
Right here. Well, I'm not even sure it was a mistake or it was just a stitch that, because I think I may have done extra stitches. You're only supposed to do the chaining, the multiple chain stitch at a certain place, and I think I did it in between stitches, and I didn't need to.
okay.
So let me just get this kind of. I'm not going to bring it back to where it was, but I just want to get a
yourself
couple
moving.
stitches here,
Moved a little bit.
so that I know that, because I'm really talented, I wasn't paying attention probably.
Were you perhaps mixing it up with your other favorite crochet pattern?
No, I think I didn't read the stitches correctly. It's not that it's hard, it was just I was kind of only giving it part of my attention. So I was,
Yeah, that does kind of affect one's knitting.
yeah,
And crocheting.
and crocheting. At least with crocheting, I'm not afraid of pulling it back.
Right. It doesn't end up something I have to fix later.
Right. I mean, I do try to fix my stuff.
You do, but you have
Um,
trouble reading
I
your
have
knitting.
trouble reading the stitches, especially if it's dark yarn, which I tend to like to do the brighter, darker yarn, the jewel tones, and sometimes it's hard for me to see.
Well, that's the other reason why I think I'm going to probably end up knitting your Anne, because that's a dark red, kind of like, not dark red, a dark green, kind of like this is a dark blue.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And actually, the green may be even darker than that.
Yes, I think it is.
So let me just.
And for this one, if it's really dark, I can't knit on this one.
Yeah.
If it's dim, especially if I have any sort of cabling or whatever, because it's a deep blue.
Okay, I'm just going to finish this one stitch. So I turn the corner and I know that my stitches are where they're supposed to be. Because I am very, very talented, as we all know.
Talent is good.
Yeah. We all have to be good at something, right? So, here, what did I do with my stitch marker?
I didn't see because I was looking at my knitting.
I thought
Is it on your lap, perhaps?
oh, here it is. Because I just kind of slipped it on the yarn.
You probably shouldn't do things like absentmindedly like that, because that's a surefire way to lose something.
Yeah, okay, there we go. All right, let me get my show notes back because I've lost that too. All right, my next one is,
Losing stuff.
yeah. Okay, this is
We're losing it.
losing it. Write it down.
I know, I'm trying to.
In my B-Wing bag. My B-Wing bag, thank you, Brittany, is my Country Rose blanket from the Jelly Roll blanket pattern by K.F. Jones. And I'm almost ready to change colors again on this one. I did a little work on this. This one's fun because it's, I'm in the middle of something here. I'm never in the middle of this one. but apparently I'm in the middle. So anyway,
That's an odd choice to be in the middle of that one.
yeah, I must have just
Because usually that one's just such an easy one to make it through the row.
I think I must have been like, okay, I'm not paying attention. I'm just going to stop.
Well, I know there was one day where you were really tired when
Yeah.
we were seeing during tea time. That might have been the day I slept the morning away.
Yeah. So this is, I'm getting ready to maybe change the color on this one. It's going to probably be this blue next. So I'm not really worried about how I put the colors in this because it's scrappy, you know. I don't know that my test designer yarns will go in here because of the colors I'm using, but maybe it will. I'm gonna give Ty some and I'm gonna save some just in case. I can put it in somewhere because you had some yarns that didn't really seem to, and it, in the gist of things, it just kind of
Right, you're talking
Yeah.
about for my mitered, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when you're doing a full blanket like that, a lot of times it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it gives it that kind of homey look that you see with quilts and things like that.
So that's this, and this is just various yarns. I've got, I don't think I have any Madtosh in this, but I think I have Malabrigo, Marigold Jen, Miss Babs, you know, all that kind of stuff. Just things that I had a bunch of yarn. I'm like, you know, I need to start using some of this yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a nice pattern to do it in. Knitted blankets are kind of something I don't really like to do, but this makes it doable because it's not squares, but it's not this huge amount of fabric I have to do knitted. So
That's probably another reason why you don't knit a lot of sweaters. I
Yeah.
think that's the reason Kay doesn't like sweaters.
I just I don't like things I don't feel comfortable fixing, and I don't feel comfortable fixing my knitting still. So
I did a lot of work on this. This was my primary project, other than the Thorns Hooded Cow. This is my Ann sweater. The pattern, well, that's the pattern's name. The project name is Lake of Shining Waters. Pattern is Ann sweater. It's by Joanna Johnson. It's from Joanna Johnson's Green Gables Knits book. And so the ribbing at the bottom is done.
oh, nice.
And I've picked up all along the collar, and it's like the collar all the way up the what would have been a button band if it had buttons, and also she has you work the pockets at the same time,
Hey.
which is the way she designs it is amazing.
Very talented.
Yes, so
And I mean that in a good way, not like I'm talented. doing
this is going to be very nice. I look forward to having this. Having the pockets at the same time also makes it seem like it makes me feel like I'm doing a 2-4.
right.
So I feel like I'm getting away with something. Same thing with doing the collar at the same time.
Being tricksy.
So it's like I feel like I'm getting away with something, doing the collar, the button band, and the pockets at the same time. So when I get to the sleeves, it'll be just the sleeves left.
right.
So it won't seem like such a big deal. So yeah, and I actually have a fair amount of yarn left. I guess I didn't judge very well how much this would use.
Well, you did the yardage, right?
I thought I did.
It may have been that you just had a little bit more that you needed. Sometimes you have to get the ball of yarn for like 15 yards
Well,
or something.
let me explain.
Oh, wow.
I have a lot left. Now, granted, I'm not done with the 5-inch ribbing
Right.
all the way around. I'm probably... It's taking up less yarn than I anticipated.
You might hear extraneous noise. I think my husband's out of his art room.
I'm about an inch on the ribbing. So, I mean, that will take up quite a bit. You know, that's... So I have at least another 4 inches. They said to go to 4... for my size, they said 4.5. There's no reason for me not to go to 5, so I'm going to 5. Because I want a bigger ribbing and it gives me a bigger pocket. So, I've made that decision.
Command decision.
Exactly. And then I'll just have the sleeves. So I don't feel like I'm going to use all this yarn, which is fine. I could totally find another sweater to knit this in.
You have that much?
Well, I don't know that I have enough sweaters worth, but if I have enough later on, I might be able to just add a little bit here and there, or use it in colorwork projects with others because I have some other colors in this.
It's a nice yarn.
It is. Well, I knit my grandma's colorwork sweater out of this. And I might have found more with the blue.
I think I have the color you used for Grandma's sweater for my sweater.
You do. I think after and I only ordered like one skein. When I thought I only needed one supplement because I had a lot of this.
Because I think I had to order 2.
Yeah, because I had a lot of that. And I think after we ordered the one skein, I found a couple more that were hiding in my yarn when we reorganized my yarn. So that might be why I have so much. And then I might have done the math slightly wrong, and maybe I didn't need to pick up that extra skein.
Well, it depends on what size you were doing and all that.
But to be quite honest, it feels like I'm doing a sweater for the price of one skein because I already had the pattern.
Right.
Obviously, I bought the book at some point, but it feels like I saved money because I already had the pattern, and I already had the yarn.
And sometimes I buy you the books. Did I buy you a book?
Now that one you didn't. That was Anne. And I bought Anne myself because I've had that forever.
Right.
So, and the yarn I've had forever, I must have been planning to knit a sweater out of it at some point.
Right.
Because there's no reason I would have had so much of it for just the color work portion.
Right.
And I had almost a sweater's worth. So, yeah, it felt like I was getting basically a free sweater, even though I obviously bought all those materials at some point.
Look at me. I'm back where I started.
Yay! So, yeah, that's what I put it on, but I'd be afraid of pulling the pockets off of the needles.
Yeah,
and I prefer not to.
It's not a big deal. You can do it later.
But at least you can kind of get the sweater feel for it since
It's really
with
pretty.
me holding it up. And you can see that it's nice and long. I think it's even going to be wide enough because initially I was concerned about the width, but if I feel like it's not wide enough after I do the 5-inch collar, I can make it a little bit more of a collar. It's magical like that. I think the 5-inch will be fine because what I did was I put it on before I picked up the stitches, and I got a measuring tape and measured from the edge, and that's without blocking. It's going to block larger too because it's alpaca.
Right.
So I think this is going to be nice. It's going to be comfortable. I'm going to love it. It's going to be actually a fairly deep pocket, I think, so it'll be really good for...
Because it's not seamed, you don't have to worry so much about putting stuff in it.
Right. I mean, I'm only going to be putting things like tissues in it anyway, maybe a rosary.
Well, maybe your rosaries are pretty heavy.
Sure, if I put a rosary in, maybe it would run.
Right. Or the smaller...
Or the smaller metal one, yeah. But yeah, it just... Things that I kind of want... I want to put my phone in it.
Somebody was asking a question on our Catholic Geeks... I think it was Catholic Geeks Craft, and I thought maybe you should go look at it because they were saying something about not having the holes fit the bead, the doing the 2 strands. I guess they were doing some kind of...
Oh, you see, I don't do 2 strands. I do...
Well, I understand that, but they were saying that the holes don't change. I think they do, don't they? The diameter of the holes.
It depends on what their source is for beads. But yeah, you can definitely get different sized holes. I mean, I tend to use a 2mm hole, but I used to use a 1.5.
Because that's what I thought, but I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure.
Well, their source might not have extra. If they aren't, I had to learn a lot about beads and stuff. They might not know about other options and everything that you can get to different sizes. Because I use 4mm when I do my St. Therese sacrifice beads.
Right.
Because it's a bigger
I'm not sure,
hole.
but it almost looked like they were using pony beads, but pony beads have big holes, so... I don't know.
If they were using things that you typically get from... if they're just picking up from like what you might get from just a typical big bag of beads, a lot of times you don't get a chance to... You don't really know what your hole size is because... you're just picking up a big old bag. But yeah, if you go to any source that is really decent, they will tell you what size of hole they have. And she left me talking about holes, which is awkward because you guys probably don't give a darn about the size of the hole that I use in my beads or how you determine it. But yes, my source will list it, and I can actually search for beads by hole size and by bead size. So like I tend to use 8mm beads for my normal smaller rosaries, and I tend to use 10mm beads for my bigger ones. And I don't have those sizes to show you, but I tend to try to stick with 2mm holes. And I wish she hadn't left me because I have no idea what to talk about other than holes. Which is a movie, actually. Don't really remember the movie that well. And I think she's coming back to rescue me. You know, you left me to waffle about holes.
Sorry.
It was really awkward to figure out something to say about holes for like...
Some things can't be
Yes.
put on hold. Okay.
But yeah, Mom, it probably was like a grab bag of. Unless you really are going to a bead place,
Right.
They might not tell you. This was actually one of my big issues with my source that sells me like centerpieces and crucifixes. I don't like picking up beads from them because they won't tell me the whole size. I actually have to go to a bead place.
Right.
They won't tell me the whole size, and they won't tell me the bead size.
Right.
So if someone's going to a source like that versus
Right.
going to another source for their beads, they don't know their size. And they might think that there's only whatever size.
Right.
Um,
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right.
But because I followed the source that I had off of Amazon originally, I went and figured out, oh, they got it from there. Let me find that site and see if I can get it cheaper. And that took me down the path of learning a lot about beads and their sizings.
Okay. So you might want to take a look at that. My hair.
Mine's being unmanageable today, too.
All right. My last project is I worked on this actually. My husband and I still do curbside pickup just because it's more convenient. But he likes to run in to get things that he
doesn't trust them.
He wants to make sure the mushrooms look right or whatever. So he
And then,
run-
like, the due dates are okay on the yogurt.
on
Because
the yogurt,
he had a lot of
so-
issues with
food
yogurt.
poisoning. Yeah. So I'm sitting there waiting for him to come out, and so I'm working on this project. And I worked on it before, but this is my mint surprise baby blanket from the wait for it, Cerebel scarf pattern by Sarah Sweetheart, because I put it in everything.
How many do you have on this podcast?
3. I have 3 of these and 2 of Anastasia's.
Oh, I guess I can't really talk since I have 3
Joanne
Joanne
Johnson's.
Johnson patterns.
Yep.
But
So-
mine are all different from each other. Darn it.
These are all different.
This
Cerebel,
This is a
blanket, not a scarf.
Cerebel.
It's a blanket. So it's made a fair amount of progress.
She says she smacks me in the
Look,
face
it
with
matches,
the blankets.
It matches my shirt.
It does. It does.
So this is the baby blanket I'm making for the lady who might or might not be pregnant. And if she's not, I will give it to somebody else because we have a bunch of people in our church who are pregnant. So, yeah. So this is, the yarn is one I haven't used before this. It's Caron Baby Cakes. And I think there's like, let me see what the yardage. There was like 1,000 yards or something in this. It's 80% acrylic and 18% nylon. 240 grams. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's 560 yards. The other one was 1,000 that I was going to get. I got 2 of these just in case I need it, but I don't know that I will. I mean, I think I'm about maybe half to a third to a half done with this. So, and I've got this much left, so I might be able to finish with one skein, maybe. So we'll see. And I think it's called Icy Aqua or something like that. Let me see. Soft Summer Stripes collection. Icy Aqua. In my Emma Al bag. Yes. Because Emma gave me the bag. I love it. And I know Emma didn't make it, but she gave it to me. So it's called my Emma Al bag. Your turn.
I don't have anything else to show.
Oh, you don't have anything else?
Yeah, because my shirt will stick to mine.
Okay, well, what's next?
Well, then usually we talk about beads and string or a graphic novel. You don't have any graphic novel, correct?
Mm-mm.
And I don't actually have any beads and string. I just got an order yesterday. It will be going to France, which I completely did not do with a French accent.
Nope.
um,
That actually sounded like somewhat Spanish, kind of, sort of.
well, I tend to do any language that looks foreign and try to put a Spanish twist on it because apparently that I think every language is sounding like Spanish. Apparently. But yeah, so I am making one of my Davina's mental health rosaries that now granted she didn't plan the rosary. I did it with her in mind. And that's been a lot more popular than I thought it would be. I thought no one else but her would like this thing. And it's one of my more popular rosaries.
She uses it every day.
Well, she takes really good care of it. The thing with that one thing being so heavy, it also doesn't tend to. You'd think that would break the cord more, but I think because it's not as easy to carry with you everywhere.
Well, I think also you don't tend to move the beads. I think that's what happens with mine is I move the beads and it scrapes against the paracord.
Right.
So maybe having it.
It is so weird because that's like a 90-pound paracord.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have that strength that would stand 90 pounds. So it's like, wow, you are like Superwoman. I don't know what you're doing there.
Well, like that other guy, right?
I felt so bad about that.
Poor guy.
The one in Ireland.
Oh boy, bless his heart.
both of them broke. I felt so bad about him.
And it wasn't the workmanship. He said so flat out.
Yeah,
You know,
he said he breaks everything, but it doesn't make me feel any better.
he breaks things. Everything he touches, I don't know. He seems like a really sweet guy.
Yes, so I felt bad about that. Anywho, so I've got that to do, but, and though, like I said, those hold up really well because I've not had anyone complain about that rosary. And that one's actually a different cord than what
You
I
actually
use
haven't
now.
had any complaints about your rosaries.
No, actually I haven't. The one in Ireland is the closest thing to complaint, and he wasn't even complaining.
No, he was just, he expected it.
Yeah, he expected it because he's broken every rosary he's picked up. Like, literally every single one he's ever picked up, he breaks. So,
He says maybe somebody doesn't want him to do the rosary.
yeah. Anyhow, his is an anomaly. This one, no reason to believe that won't hold up because all the others have. Anywho, that leads us on to shop news, which I don't have a whole lot because I've been a lazy person and not working on my designs like I should.
I just made a sale. Thank you. The person knows who she is. I really appreciate the sale. And Patty and Pat, Looney Hiker and Wombat of Doom, thank you for finding the Mr. Magoo full length so I can take a look at that.
Did they happen to find the same link, or did they find separate ones?
I think they found the same link, Vimeo or something like that. So I can now watch that and see what what Patty wants me to see on that. Patty, I need to touch base with you to see what you're looking for. So that might be something I'm doing. We'll see. I have a few ideas. I'm not going to talk over you. I'm really not. I'll just sit here and be quiet. That's not going to cut it. No. Absolutely not. So, yeah, I have some ideas. In fact, I have, as I was saying, a few ideas to the point where I was having empty things at one time, which kind of froze me. Now I have a fair amount of things to look at, and I don't know what to look at first. So
So it goes from no options to
like wee
way too many, and then it's like what do they call it?
overload.
It's something paralysis.
Oh right, yeah.
It's not option paralysis. It's
I know what you're talking about.
It's an actual term, and it's going to drive me nuts. Oh well.
I don't know what the actual term is, but anyway. So I'm gonna sit there and figure out. Part of it is that I just haven't been able to focus really well because, like I said, I spent the first part of the week trying to catch up on sleep, and we had our schedule kind of turned upside down. Then we started, our normal routine is starting back up again. So I'm out of the house part of the morning for Mass, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get everything in. So I'm hoping to dye up some yarn maybe this weekend, and throughout the week. I still haven't had a chance to reskein the other yarn that I showed you, the, what do I call it, creamsicle. I haven't had a chance to reskein that yet and put it in the shop, but that will be up in the shop pretty soon. And so just keep an eye on things. I'm going to start working on, autumn colors. I might have a couple summer colorways coming up as well, but basically I'm looking toward autumn and Christmas right now. So we'll see what happens.
Now I'm trying to remember. Is it dearth of options too many or too little? It's too little, isn't it?
Dearth is too little.
I always want to think it's too many, which is why I remember what it actually was, because it's the opposite of what I always think it is.
Plethora is too many.
Yeah.
Dearth is, we need to have characters, plethora and dearth.
And there's twins.
And one's a girl, one's a guy.
Dearth is a guy.
Yep. Sorry we do this.
Okay. Like I said, no shop news for me. I don't have any stash enhancements. Your turn.
I do have stash enhancement. I just got it this morning. So, because Talia gave it to me. My hair is starting to get too long for me to use a regular clip when I put it up. So Talia she had an extra one of these.
Yeah, I had 2 blue ones. And I figured this would be a good way for Mom to try it, see if she likes it. Then she might want to look at the wood ones that I tend to favor.
Right.
I tend to favor the tridents, but I actually think that you would probably prefer even more than that. And I do have some sticks for you to try if you want to. They're the sticks, the hair sticks.
Because my hair is, when it's down, even when the curls, it's almost down to my waist. So you can't tell it when it's up like this, but it's curled. But
And I actually have way more of the metal sticks than I need, so I can give you 2 of them.
yeah. So when I braid it, when I French braid it, I go around. It's hard for the thing to.
Yeah, this is more better if you're doing it like I do.
More better?
Yes,
More better?
it is more better. Darn it. This is more for, I think I'll have to say more for or better
Best.
for, and I put the two together. This is better or more suited for if you're taking one long braid, flipping it up, and then sticking it in. That's how I wear it.
Right.
Because actually if I twist it, it makes it tight like you would a ponytail, and ponytails hurt my head.
And for me, it depends on how it makes even thinking about it, sometimes some of my hats, I just get this feeling in my neck, and it's just very uncomfortable. So I'm kind of difficult with hats
But
and
like
things
this
that.
doesn't touch your neck. If you're already wearing your hair in a style that's up here somewhere, like I said, this is best you're taking a braid, sticking in. I've known people who've done the around and then sticking that in, but I feel like it just comes undone.
Right.
What I prefer if I'm going to be doing it around, even though I don't like to do it that way because like I said, hurts my head, is I take 2 metal sticks and I stick them in like that because then it holds it in each area.
I really don't have much choice because it hangs down. If I just, do like that, it hangs down.
Right.
So
So yeah, I can like I said, the set came with like 6 and I only needed 2. So I can let you have 2 of them. They're not very long, they're like this big. Because I figured you'd prefer the shorter ones to the long wood
yes,
ones I have.
Yes. Anything that sticks out makes me uncomfortable.
And it's kind of like an antique silver.
I like that. I call it burnished.
Yeah, so I think when we're done, I'll let you have 2 of those because I don't need all 6 of them.
Well, just
Like I said, I couldn't pick up just 2, or it was either I couldn't pick up just 2, or it wasn't gonna be really worth the shipping to just pick up 2. She had really good prices.
shipping was more than the.
Yeah, and the way she has hers is that if you wanted to, you could buy some for charms to stick on the hole on the end of it, so then you could have it hanging down from the sticks.
Yeah, I don't want anything like that.
Right. I just wanted the plain ones myself. But yeah,
That would make me feel off balance. It's like dangly earrings. I don't like dangly earrings.
I used to love dangling
I don't like
earrings.
'em. They always make me feel. I don't like things like. No.
Yeah, that used to actually be my look, was the dangly earrings, and then my earrings kept getting caught on people, and eventually I tore my ear.
Yeah. I never really care for dangly earrings unless they didn't move. If they were, and even then I just don't care for them. I don't care for them. I like the flush against the skin.
I really liked how it looked. That's part of why I had my nickname of Gypsy.
Franciscan Gypsy.
Well, they didn't call me Franciscan
Oh, they
Gypsy.
called you Gypsy.
I would get referred to as Gypsy. I had one person call me Esmeralda.
Yeah.
This is a passing thing. It wasn't like it was a nickname that people would just call. It was usually like a one-time thing or like a every once in a while thing. But yeah, that's why I made my title Franciscan Gypsy, because Franciscan was the school, Gypsy was the nickname. But the earrings and the long skirts. And then of course I had that big you might remember this. I took a chain and I put religious medals on each spoke of the chain. It actually looked kind of weird in retrospect, but
No, it didn't.
Um,
That was the thing back then. Because we found it in religion. I wanted to do it as well.
I had never seen anyone else wear it.
Yeah, I maybe not seen anybody wear it, but I've seen them done.
Yeah, and I had it all the way around. I used to get a lot of comments on it. But between that and the skirts and the big earrings, I used to be referenced as a Gypsy or Esmeralda. Not sure why we were talking about that. Earrings.
Yeah.
Why were you talking about earrings? Oh,
The
dangly
thing.
from the thingy.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so yeah, that's your stash enhancement. You're going to have another one for next week because I'll give you the 2 extra things. And it doesn't have the things on the holes because I didn't want them and didn't pick them up. I felt like it was an unnecessary expense.
I just don't like them. Something like that would make me feel like
Well, it already feels so classy without them. It felt like it would ruin the classiness of it.
Right. I probably won't wear those if I have to wear my veil. I don't want to tear my veil.
It's not sharp.
Yeah, but I've got holes in the veil. The veil is lace.
Well, it's not. This wouldn't probably be best for that, but it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, because this doesn't have anything to be caught on, really. This would be even better, but you don't you said that you have too much hair for that.
I don't know if I do or not.
I guess you'll find out with this one, because I can do this with mine, too. I just prefer the wood ones. So, that's Mom's stash enhancements. Reading is actually a very big section for me, so
Yeah, we need to be... I know Daddy's out. I don't want to...
I'll try to just name titles.
Yeah.
But you first.
I really don't...
I don't really need to go into this too much.
Well, if you don't want to go into reading too much, if nothing's changed, we can mention our app.
Yeah, nothing's really changed. Except I picked up the listening eye, and I think I did that last week, so.
And she does have the YouTube link I gave her for Pride and Prejudice.
I haven't started it yet.
No. and you also hadn't determined, because you had asked me to, this actually leads on to the app, when I put you on that challenge, even though they said you could do audiobook for them, you were thinking you might want to read it instead.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm reading when I'm doing an audio. It doesn't feel right.
And because that was one of the few challenges that did say they didn't care.
And I may change, but I don't.
You kind of feel like you would get more out of it.
Yeah.
I think you would too. I think it's a good starting point. And some people do prefer to read that way, but I don't. I can't get as into the world. I can't get as when I read, it's like I'm in another world. I block everything out to the point where if someone walks into for me to be reading, I feel like I almost need to readjust and come back into this world.
Well, I feel like the narrator, for the most part, is a barrier. So I need to be able to hear the voices myself and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and read at my own pace.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do like certain readers. I do like Hugh Fraser. I do like Benedict Cumberbatch.
A lot of times when I like the reader, it's less to do with the listening to the actual story. A lot of times I'm more just listening to their voice.
Well, because Hugh Fraser does Hastings, and to some extent even Jap is okay. Hugh Fraser, I was listening to him, and he nailed Jap. He did. He just got it, and he does a really good job with Poirot too.
Well, I mean, those guys were friends and worked together for so long.
Yeah, well, I'm friends, and I couldn't. We're close, and I couldn't do your voice.
Mom, we sound alike anyway. I think
Maybe a little bit, but
it's a mother-daughter thing to the point where if any of us answer phones like, "Who is this?"
I don't know about that anymore. But my point is, I couldn't do it on demand.
No, I probably couldn't either. But if when you're already an actor, and I mean, who knows? Maybe he's a mimic too. Maybe he's sitting there like mocking them with his voice. I don't know.
But anyway, it's less intrusive.
Yeah. But the app I'm talking about, that has the challenges, it's my newest obsession. Okay, so you guys, I think I mentioned before that I like BookTube, and I'm not like into like all the BookTubes. I'm very picky about my BookTube. I have like 3 or 4 people I follow. One person, she's not technically a BookTube, the Ellie Dashwood. She covers Jane Austen, but she's also goes more into the history and stuff. So she's kind of the history / BookTube. She doesn't seem to consider herself a BookTube person. She's kind of a thing unto herself. Yes, her name is actually Ellie Dashwood, like Eleanor Dashwood from Sense and Sensibility. Her parents were either obsessed with it or something. It's kind of funny. She's cute. She's a sweetheart. Anyway, but she's kind of a different kind of podcast all to herself. Tube, whatever. My BookTube people, I listen to Murphy Napier or watch Murphy Napier sometimes. And then the Bookish Spinster, she tends to do a fair amount of classics. Whereas Murphy's is the one who does the fantasy books. That's where I got the fantasy that reads like a Jane Austen. I need to pick up and start all over again. It's like a 700-page book. And you feel like you're actually reading Austen. It's also somehow a fantasy at the same time, which is super cool. But I got distracted reading Agatha Christie, and I stopped reading it, so I need to start again at some point.
You need to move it along.
Okay, so yeah, through another BookTube that I didn't actually end up picking up, I found out in the comments about this app called Storygraph. It's not connected to Amazon the way that Goodreads is. This other BookTube was talking about how there's been issues on Goodreads about some authors being an issue to people who give reviews they don't like, following them to their page and demanding why they gave someone else a better review when they think that they're a better author, and things like that. And it's just, there's too much ability of the author to interact with the people who are just trying to share their opinion on the book. And there are people who just don't feel comfortable on Goodreads because of that. So Storygraph, I guess, provides an option that's also not connected to Amazon. It's its own thing. It literally is just, it has a community section, but it seems like there's no contact with the authors. And it's really a toned down community section. It doesn't look like you can message each other, as far as I can tell, which you can do on Goodreads. Um,
And I don't mind having contact with the author, but it's just there's got to be some kind of parameters to it.
right, and apparently Goodreads doesn't have any moderators,
Right.
so there might be rules, but no one enforces them. That's the way I understand it from this BookTube person. So I checked out this place just because I'd never heard of Storygraph. It's also free, like Goodreads.
It has a paid version too.
It has a paid version too. I think Goodreads does as well.
I don't know.
But I'm keeping both. But Storygraph right now is kind of a preferred for me. It does these colorful graphs and pie charts based on your reading preferences. And I was looking, it's like at some way I can see where someone might want to do the paid version because they tailor the suggestions more towards you and the readers like you more towards you for the paid version. Would I go that way? No, it's really not worth it for me. But I can see why some people might see it's worth it to them. And it's to keep them going on because they don't have Amazon's money behind them. So if that's your kind of thing, I totally recommend them.
Well, Amazon gets money because you might see something, you just go right to Amazon and buy it.
Right, whereas these people don't have them. Like, they really are just readers with readers. But they have these pretty graphs, and they figure out, based on your reading, like your FOs for your reading, for your things that you finished reading.
Or currently reading.
Actually, based on your finished, I think, because I don't notice my thing changing until I finish a book. Because you might have if they don't wait, you might be marking it not finished. That's something they have over Goodreads as well. Okay, so Goodreads, there's read, not read, and that's or want to read. I think those are the options. And then you have a 5-star rating system. Straight 5s, you can't do half stars or anything like that. This place, Storygraph, they have a 5-star rating system, but you can do like I don't know, 4 1/4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4, or 5. So there's you can go in gradations, because there's been times where I've rated something 5 because I don't believe it really deserves a 4, but I really don't believe it deserves a 5 either. And that it gives me some freedom. There's been things I've written 5, put as 5 on Goodreads. I've actually put like a 4 point, anywhere in the 4.25 to the 4.75 on Storygraph. And there's been things on Goodreads that I put as a 4 that I've moved up to like a 4.25. So I feel like it's actually in some ways more fair to the author in that way. And then they also let you have the option, and I wish I had had this on Goodreads for the Miss Bates book that I hated so much, the did not finish option, because you just couldn't stand to read it. So I ended up putting that on this. It still counts towards your reading graph and pie chart, but it makes it clear, like, yeah, I didn't like this so much I couldn't even finish the book, instead of making it look like you finished it. So they help you figure out what kinds of books you like and have been mostly reading. Mom's been reading a high amount of adventure books. Her graph looks very different than mine. I've been reading a high amount of mystery books.
Mine is more eclectic than yours.
Yes, although you can see my adventure's gotten a little bit higher since I started reading Dorothy L. Sayers. And it'll tell you what pace. You're pretty much even.
I don't know what mine. I can't even get on it from here.
I'll just show you where the app is. They have an app. It tells you how many pages you tend to, like, how thick your books tend to be. You can figure out your fiction versus nonfiction. I used to think I read a lot more nonfiction than I did. Spoiler alert, I read a ton more fiction. Tells you the genres that you tend to gravitate toward based on what you've read. So, like, heavily mystery for me, heavily crime. I guess they're crime and mystery both for my. Not that I've been reading true crimes. I've been reading murder mysteries. And the other one that's really high up there for me is classics. And the next one is historical, even though it's much shorter. So it helps you get an idea of what you've been reading. You're able to create your own challenges or find challenges that can last forever, but just make sure you hit all the books in a series and then you could check it off. So it's very cool. Highly recommend. I have an Instagram post about it. And all I'm going to say about the books I've been reading is give you a really quick list, because I finished several books while I was doing this, because
I was just trying to find the apps, but I can't find it right now. So.
Do you know where to look for apps?
No, so it doesn't matter.
There.
Okay.
It's called Storytime.
Storygraph.
I'm sorry, Graph. Yes, you're right. apparently I want to call it story time for whatever reason. Storygraph. Just opening my show notes. It's
There it is. Right? This one?
that's it. Because then what's cool about that is you can finish a book and then just put down right then and there that you finished it. And their app is really easy to work. The books that are new, because you've heard a lot of these things that I've been reading, like the Until Christ Be Formed in You and things like that. I did start reading a couple new books. Maids, Wives, Widows, Exploring Early Modern Women's Lives, 1540 to 1740 by Sarah Reed. And this runs through all the, like, minutia of living as a woman during those time periods. So, what were the things you had to think about for her? Basically, it's a gold mine for people who write medieval fantasies based in a medieval type time period, because it's early modern, which means about Tudor time period. If you don't want it quite as old school as medieval, it's a good time period. Plus, it's not like there's a clear like barrier between medieval and Tudor. It wasn't that long ago. So I mean, medieval ended really with Henry VIII's father in Boswell's Field, when Richard the Third was killed and he took the throne. So it wasn't that long ago. So if we take the things from this book, Mom and I can get a lot of writing things out of it. Other than that, the other books I just want to mention were What Matters in Austen. I finished that. 5 stars. That was really fun. Started and read Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Highly recommend. I think it's very different than a lot of the Bronte's work. It's not nearly as gothic novel-y. It's more like slice of life. This is what it's like to be a governess. And from what I understand, the hero character in that is probably one of the nicest guy characters in any of the Bronte's works, because most of the guys tend to be like, you know, Mr. Rochester
Heathcliff.
or Heathcliff. So jerkwads.
Stop using that word.
Why?
It's so vulgar.
Then I finished Last Command by Timothy Zahn, so finished the Zahn trilogy, the original Zahn trilogy that he had. And then Dorothy L. Sayers, binge reading. The first one is Whose Body? That's where you first are introduced to Lord Peter Wimsey. And he's fairly young for the detectives that we tend to read, because Poirot's quite old. Mm-hmm. They never say how old he is, but they just say he's old. Then Miss Marple is old, elderly. And Sherlock Holmes is probably about 40s, 50s, I would think.
Right.
This guy, when we meet him, is about in his early 30s. So, Whose Body? Oh, and he's interesting because he has some PTSD from his time in World War One. And it actually affects him during the cases at some point, because he gets flashbacks. So, Whose Body, Clouds of Witness, and Unnatural Death by Dorothy L. Sayers. He also probably has the best of the detective sidekick relationships, because his manservant was actually his, I think they call him the Batman. I think it was the Batman, not the Batboy, that you had in war. He was his sergeant to, I guess Lord Peter was a major in World War One, and he was, I think they called them Batboys or Batmans, because I think that J.R.R. Tolkien was one.
I don't know.
Anyway, they're basically, they're carrying your stuff for you and like being your assistant. And he stuck with him after the war and became his manservant. And they just have a really close friendship bond. Not just a typical manservant lord bond. And he's actually really smart in his own. He's not just like a, so Watson.
Watson's not
Why?
stupid.
But you know, even
It's the movies that
it's
make us
movies,
stupid.
and also Conan Doyle doesn't. He alludes to the fact that Watson's probably smart, but he doesn't let Watson do a whole lot.
Well, it's about him.
Yeah. Whereas it is
Watson-
still about whimsy, but this guy will play off his own hunches, and I just really like him. And I think that's a really great relationship. And he's definitely does more than Hastings, who sometimes gets in the way. Oftentimes gets in the way, especially if there's a pretty face. Pretty faces are his weakness. But yes, highly recommend any of the Lord Peter Wimsey books by Dorothy L. Sayers. The last one I read, I just finished today, was Unnatural Death. So yes, highly recommend. And Mom and I were talking about how there seems to be a lot of military men in these kind of mysteries. But it makes sense for both Poirot and Lord Peter Wimsey, which are actually set about the same time period. Because Poirot, the reason why he was in England was he was a refugee from Belgium due to World War One, and Hastings is called invalidated.
Invalidated, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called invalidated out because of a war injury. I don't think they ever specified what his injury
It was
was.
something to his leg, but I don't remember.
I know Watson's was to his leg, and Watson's was a Victorian age. I guess there was stuff going on in Afghanistan at that point because it was during an Afghanistan war. I'd have to check my history a little bit better, but apparently it was in Afghanistan. That's why it's so easy to do a modern take on it. You just say, well, he's still fighting in Afghanistan. It's just a modern day war, because that's what they did for Sherlock. But there does seem to be a tendency, probably because these guys tend to be cool under pressure, and all that. But yeah, so highly recommend if you've not read Lord Peter Wimsey. I don't think he gets near the recognition as the Poirots and the Holmeses. He actually has made references to Sherlock several times. He's a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. And he's made a Jane Austen reference, which made me giggle. But we probably should get done. He made a Mansfield Park reference. So yes, that's about all for my reading. I could probably go on forever about Wimsey, but he's my newest reading obsession.
Are we finished?
Yes, and I think I've been purling when I shouldn't be.
Okay, let's see here. I think that's basic.
I did want to tell you something really quickly. A lot of the things during a time period, if you were Catholic, it was kind of looked upon poorly because there was a period of time you couldn't. There's actually a fairly active persecution of Catholics during a certain period of time. It was really bad during the Victorian age. I think it was starting to recover a little bit by World War One, but it's looked upon kind of suspiciously. They referred to a character as being a roaming Catholic instead of a Roman Catholic.
Okay.
I guess the lady wasn't very familiar with this, so she called them a roaming Catholic, which just made me giggle and I had to share.
Was it a character or was the author?
No, Dorothy L. Sayers was
Okay.
Catholic.
Well, I didn't know who wrote it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Dorothy L. Sayers was Catholic, but no, it was a character referring to another character as a roaming Catholic because she wasn't terribly familiar. I'm actually not sure if she was Catholic or in High Anglican, but anyway, that made me giggle.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just hold my stitch here because I got quite a bit done. If I can find my stitch, yeah.
But you could tell it's a period piece, although for her it would have been modern day, because you'll hear other characters refer to other characters as papists, papists, and that's not a term you really hear anymore.
Not in this country, anyway.
No.
Okay, I think that's about it. I don't think we have much in the way of slice of life type stuff. So we want to, what?
Oh, let me just give a quick trigger warning. People, if you aren't able to read things written during a certain period of time and handle that, maybe the language and how they dealt with talking about people of certain other races during that time period, even if the author doesn't think that way, the characters might say something like, in Agatha Christie, sometimes you'll run into some language about people who are a different color or ethnicity or whatever, because there were heavy prejudices everywhere, but I think England had a lot of issues because they would tend to be more insular at that time period. So if a period piece that is accurate might bother you with that, you might not want to read mystery set during that time period, just because they might have language that would be during this time considered inappropriate. So yeah, that is my trigger warning, because every once in a while I cringe when I read that. Okay, sorry, go on.
Are you sure?
I am positive.
Okay. All right. We do have a Patreon thing coming up this Friday. Which one is the Zoom?
Yes, because it's the end of the month.
So we have the Zoom coming up on Friday. So that's for our Patreons. And we want to thank you all for joining us here. It's a little long this time. We apologize. We want to thank everybody who joined us for the Fun in the Woman Cave. We want to thank Dawn and Bettina and Emma and Wombat of Doom and Joan. We apologize if you didn't see, the podcast went up and then went away because it was an issue, but it's fixed.
Yeah, there was an issue. It probably only lasted like 6 or 7 hours.
Not the issue was up for about that long.
Yeah, it was about that long. Where when I had originally saved it, I'm not sure if the camera got jogged and the connection between the computer and the camera was an issue or what, but it didn't save. The way it saved, Mom was talking toward the end, but no one was moving. So we had a freezing. I was able to fix it, and I quickly uploaded a different video.
Right. So if you didn't come back because it was frozen, it's fixed.
And thank you for the people who mentioned it.
Mentioned it, yes. So we want to wish you all a very blessed weekend and week filled of knitting, crocheting, crafting, whatever makes you happy. And we hope to see you back here for the Fun in the Woman Cave next week. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 464, and that's a wrap.
Bye.